the previous section, we learned how to name double bonds as cis or trans. This system of identifying double bonds is very limited because we must have two identical groups on the double bond. So how do we do if we have four different groups on the double bond? Take the following example. There are two possible stereoisomers. Either we have the bromine group and the methyl group on the opposite sides, like shown here, or we have them on the same sides. The alternative for such products is the EZ system that ranks the different groups based on their atomic numbers. Now remember, here is a snapshot of the periodic table with the main atoms used in the organic chemistry, and here I'm showing their respective atomic numbers. So for carbon, for example, the atomic number is 6, for nitrogen 7, for oxygen 8, and etc. etc. So if I need to rank these atoms here, we will have the following order. Now the methodology for the EZ system is quite simple. First, we need to identify the four different groups connected to the double bond. In our case here, we have on one side the hydroxide group and the methyl, and on the other side we have bromine and amine. Next, we need to number each of these groups based on their atomic numbers. So if I start with this side on the double bond, I have a hydroxide group starting with oxygen, and therefore it will get the atomic number 8. And here I have a methyl group starting with carbon, so it will get the atomic number of 6. So here we are comparing 8 versus 6. So hydroxide group must be numbered as number 1, and the methyl groups will be number 2. On this side here, we are comparing bromine with an amine. Bromine has an atomic number of 35, and amine starts with nitrogen, which has an atomic number of 7. So we are comparing 35 versus 7. So bromine will be ranked number 1, and amine will be ranked number 2. Now we need to answer the following question. Are the number 1 groups on the same side of the double bond? If yes, then the configuration for this double bond is Z. If the answer is no, then the configuration for this double bond is E. So Z comes from the German word zusammen, meaning together, and E coming from the German word entgegen, meaning opposite. In our case here, the answer to this question is yes, because as you can see, hydroxide and bromine, numbered as number 1, are on the same side. So this double bond here will be named Z.